Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. I have not as much as wiped my eyes. It is fresh out of bedtime, and the first thing I see is that Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets are at an impasse, and that now it's time for him to start looking at other options. The Lakers and the Knicks are the options that have been mentioned. I haven't heard anything from Kyrie Irving, obviously, and I have learned that when it comes to Kyrie Irving specifically, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to wait for him to either mention what it is he's going to say or put something on Instagram. That's the way you got to work with certain players when they tell you exactly what it is, because they have such a disconnected relationship with the media to where you really can't trust too much in regards to certain names, to be completely honest with you. That's what I've learned. Some names is like, yeah, the news is the news. Other names is like there's an agenda surrounding their entire name, and whatever is brought up could be more than what it looks like, could be posturing of some sort. Now, I've personally thought that the Brooklyn Nets, and I've said this a million times, should probably look to go in a different direction. Because if you're the Brooklyn Nets, what you need to try to do for yourself is try to regain some stability in your franchise. The issue that the Brooklyn Nets have is that not only are they built with 3 max contracts, but one of those max contracts is attached to an injured player named Ben Simmons. The other max contract is attached to Kyrie Irving, and of course, the third is KD. They need to try to figure out how they can salvage their situation with their assets, because like the Los Angeles Lakers, they're in a sensitive situation. They've had many trades that have depleted them of picks and assets just like we have. And they don't have a bench just like we don't. And they do have to try to condense it down to 2 max contracts. And unlike us, 2 out of our 3 guys, we're good with. AD and Bron, we know at least they're ready to go. In Brooklyn situation, we're not certain. Because Ben Simmons and his health, you just want to take your time with him. I think it's a chance he misses the start of this season too. He has a long way to go to get back to where he wants to be physically and mentally. And that is something the Brooklyn Nets have to account for when they're building their team this season. He may miss time. So if they can't count on him, and they're having issues with Kyrie Irving in the sense that they don't want to give him that max contract because of the history, they have to move on. They have to. If you can't reach an agreement, you got to move on. And most importantly, you can't give in because of the uniqueness of your circumstances. You can't afford to give Kyrie what you don't want to give him. You can't afford to go forward with him if you don't trust that he's going to be 100% ready to go with you. They're not in a position they can take that risk. The thing about the Lakers is, to be honest with you, we're not either. We're really not. We are not. Our situation is just as bad as Brooklyn's, as in a sense that we have those same problems with our assets. We have those same problems in the sense that we need to build stability. We have the max contracts. We need other players represented in those contracts. However, the Lakers seem to be in a space where they don't care nothing about that. They seem to be in a space where they believe that the best way to go forward is to go all in for LeBron James. They've already been committed to LeBron James. They've teetered on whether or not they want to give away picks, but now the rumors are coming out about Bradley Beal, and now, another rumor here with Kyrie. I think the most logical thing the Lakers are going to probably end up looking at is bringing in a third star and continuing on this process of this 3-headed monster race, even though it's completely and utterly ill-advised, and most importantly, the field has shown us that it literally does not work. And I like I said, if we were in a wonderful cap situation where the NBA could just let you bring all kinds of talent to you, of course I want Kyrie Irving. Of course I want LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Heck, I want to bring Donovan Mitchell to the situation. Can we bring? Can we go ahead and bring some other players too? You know what I mean? I have no problem. Bring Kyrie Irving. Bring everybody who want to be here. And go get Ben Simmons too. Like in my world, there shouldn't be no restrictions for talent playing with one another. It should be a league full of super teams if that's what they want to do, and they should have plenty of role players in that situation. Then you got a souped up league with a bunch of good teams, but they haven't figured out a way to do that yet. They haven't structured the cap in such a way where that's possible. So until then, if you want to have 3 max players, You got to risk the fact that your bench is not going to be as talented. And that's just something that you can't afford to do in today's NBA. You're going to be a team that doesn't make the playoffs if you do that. Simple as that. If those 3 players don't make it through the season 100%, then you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be like, at absolute best, in Milwaukee. Milwaukee just went through that. One of their 3 players was hurt, but they were still really, really, really good enough to get the maximum amount out of themselves. And how far did they go? Second round, 7th game. That's it, as far as they can get. That's our ceiling. If we do anything like this, that's our ceiling. Because Bron doesn't play D like that. AD, of course, he plays both sides, but he has had issues staying healthy, as we know. So whoever we're bringing in, if they don't bring defense and scoring and facilitate a certain level of consistency and health, then I'm afraid they're in for a long tenure with the Lakers, or even a short one, considering. But that's what I would tell Kyrie. That's what I would tell Bradley Beal. That's what I would tell anybody who's listening to me. Listen, yes, you're signing up to be a part of a 3-headed monster. But what you really are is a piece that we can trade to get the stuff that we need. Because you know what we're not going to do? We're not trading AD, and we're not trading Bron. So guess who that is we're trading? It is you. Whoever that guy is that we're bringing in, yes, you're only going to be here for about a year and a half at the most. You're out of here. If the Lakers know what they're doing. Now, they're not going to tell you that. Because obviously they want to bring you here to be a part of what it is that we're doing this year. But trust you me, if they're thinking correctly, the only thing they're looking to acquire right now is things they're looking to flip later. And if they're being honest with the people that they're acquiring, they're letting them know that. Because it's a situation we're in. We're not in a situation where we can just build a super team and then sustain them for the next 4 or 5 years like the Warriors. It's not our situation. Our situation is, as I said, that of a limited cap situation, a limited asset situation. Assets are missing. They're missing. It's not that we can make up for them without doing this. They have to be acquired in trade in order to be received. And that's something I'm always going to say to everybody who watches me. It's like, look, most of the teams around the league are dealing with a full pie, as I call it, a full cap situation. If a guy happens to be starting the season hurt, or if they have a contract that's out of whack, that they should have never had nobody sign, then you're going to see situations where their team is going to look imbalanced. But they're not missing anything. All they have to actually do, like we have to do, is trade what they need to trade to get back that. But the problem is what we're missing is picks. That's the absence of things. What you cannot get back unless you get that gifted to you through trade is picks. And picks is currency in the NBA, as we've talked about a million times. So if you have second rounders, first rounders, you can trade for this, that, and the third. If you have expiring contracts or want to acquire those, picks will help you facilitate that process. So your flexibility is literally wrapped up in whether or not you have a good portion of picks. We don't have any. And what the Lakers are talking about doing in acquiring Bradley Beal specifically, because I don't know what it would take to get Kyrie, we would probably have to give up both the 27th first round pick and the 2029 first round pick. That puts us all the way in a hole as to which we can't get our own homegrown picked players through the draft until 2030. That's what we're signing up for. It is 2023 coming up. We're looking at 7 years without getting a single homegrown Laker pick. We would have to acquire those picks via trade somewhere down the road, as to which, how would we do that? Trades. Picking up the people that we're picking up here are going to help us get that. And so that's the situation with the Lakers. That's why I wanted to tear it down, because it's like, look, you are telling these players that you're picking up that they have a chance to actually win a championship if they come here. They do not. They don't. What they're going to end up finding out is they're too damn shallow to do that. They're going to be top heavy enough to keep up with everybody, but the moment they get in foul trouble, the lead is gone. The moment they get into a situation where a guy gets hurt, they're tumbling down the standings. It's not a situation where you are going to be able to honestly guarantee to these men that they can compete for a championship. It's not a guarantee. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say it's a bold-faced lie, because if they can stay healthy for 82 games and play at the level that they're supposed to play, then damn it, they'll do that. But who the heck is signing up for that type of situation in the NBA where everybody's deep? Where you got to deal with Memphis got 2 and 3 starting lineups. Boston got 2 starting lineups. You know, it's like, you look at Atlanta, they got a bunch of young players. Houston got a bunch of young players. All these teams are going to be getting better than you, and you got 3 max contracts, but not just any old 3 max contracts. You got one of the most injury-prone guys. You got a guy who's in his 30s, almost going to be 40 soon, and then you're going to be bringing in Kyrie Irving and all that comes with Kai, or bringing in Bradley Beal and the injury history and age of him. If you're going to build with 3 max contracts, the idea is to try to get the 3 most durable superstars in the world and put them together so that it makes sense to do this, so that you can give yourself the maximum opportunity to have success without a deep team. That's why I never understood what the Clippers are doing. Are you kidding me? You're going to do this with Kawhi and Paul George? Paul George, we seen his leg injury a couple years back. You know, even though he's bounced back from that clearly, the point is that's a player who's had an injury like that. And you're putting him in a 3 max contract situation. Kawhi Leonard, I don't have to finish saying nothing about Kawhi. We know his history. You don't build like that. You don't do that. You got to give them a deep team. That must be 2 max contracts, or better yet, even 1, so that your whole team can be balanced full of good players. Kawhi goes down, who cares? We got a full team players. We got a Celtics-like basketball club. That's what the Clippers should be doing with Kawhi. The whole team should look like the Celtics. And then add Kawhi to that. Right? Well, obviously, they have 2 max contracts, but the point is they shouldn't have no more than 1 superstar if the superstar you got is somebody you can't expect to play more than 50 games. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's literally the only thing I'm trying to make. And so, Kai, if you want to come to the Lakers, bro, that's what you're signing up for. Bradley, if you come into my squad, that's what you're signing up for. AD, Bron, if you stay here with the Lakers, that's what it is. There ain't nobody else want to tell the truth. Everybody wants to lie about this. Everybody wants to sit back and pretend like this is not as much of a freaking, what's the word, crisis as it actually is for our team. I'm not the type of fan, and I know you guys are probably tired of this. I'm probably tired of it, listening to it myself. But I'm not the type of fan that's going to act like a problem isn't a problem just because it got some pretty names attached to it. Because the way I see it is, we're setting those names up to get the worst of the brunt of the circumstances. It's them that we're going to blame for not being good enough, when I know it starts now with the decision to structure your cap a certain way. That's going to make it so that we have enough depth. That's going to make it so that we have the right players coming in our rotations. We can blame our coaches for our rotations all we want. This is where the problem starts, with rotations. For all us Laker fans, all of us who looked at Frank Vogel and hated what we saw, he was in a position to look his team looked as bad as it did because we gave him options that were not very good. Now, did he do good things with those options? I don't believe he did. Not based on my understanding, I don't believe he did, but we gave him bad options. This is what you're signing up for if you do something that doesn't acquire the assets you're missing. And you're setting yourself up for a shallow team next year and an even worse team after that. Because what happens when a team goes through the type of season that they're about to go through, if my theory is right? Well, those same players are going to be even more unhappy at the end of the next season. And they just came off 2 seasons where they were unhappy. How does prolonged unhappiness play out when guys are free agents? When LeBron James is a free agent, how does it play out when he's had 3 bad seasons in a row with the Lakers? See, this is how I think. I'm not walking into the season saying it's going to go right. I'm walking into the season looking at what I see and say, okay, it definitely has a good chance of going wrong. So because it has a good chance of going wrong, how do I handle the fallout of that? And because I have no answer or plan and understood, all I see is the problems that we're going to be left with after this plays itself out, whether it's successful or fail, I can't look past that. I look past that for the AD trade. We got the 2020 championship. Everybody's telling me I'm supposed to be happy about that. And I cannot be as happy about as I need to be, because all I see is years and years and years of struggle. And a team who went through the same thing I just went through, but doesn't see it the way I do. They want to continue to double down on that, I guess, to get us another 2020 type championship, for which we'll have another 10 years of struggle after that. I don't like signing up for struggle. Struggle hurts more than the championship feels good. I hate to say it, but as someone who's won 5 of them, sucking hurts worse than winning feels good to fans. Why? Because winning only lasts 5 minutes, and we got to watch somebody else win next year. That's the problem. But when you suck, like I said, year after year after year, it gets more and more frustrating, belittling, and starts to eat away at your desire. On the court, off the court, anybody rooting for the team, losing eats away at you, especially when you're spoiled and used to winning. Now, if I were respectfully a Kings fan or a Knicks fan, I've been losing the whole time. Yeah, maybe days will get better, but I've worked up the strength to get used to the circumstances, and that's who we are. That ain't who we are. No, sir. We're used to winning. We grew up winning. We know winning. We won 2 years ago. And what I see is a team that ain't going to win for a very long time. Granted, this could be a big year for us if we do the impossible and these guys stay healthy and all this, that, and the third. Yo, this could be the year. But guess what? After it all falls apart, we win the championship. Well, hooray, hooray, hooray. Bron goes play with whoever he plays with. And we're left with whatever it is. Maybe we got a banner in the sky, but we got problems on the floor. And that's what I'm worried about. We got plenty of banners. Still got problems. Add another banner, still got problems. You see what I'm saying? That's what it was in 2020. We added a banner, we still got problems. We got to remove those problems so we can continue to have opportunities to add banners without needing to create problems to add banners. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what we need to understand. So, cleaning house 2 years after a championship is probably the smartest way to assure that you'll have another chance at a championship soon. We just won one. We got what we needed. We got what we were looking for. We were happy. We ruined it, right? Because it didn't have to go bad. It was going well. 2020, all we had to do was come back with the same team, retool a little different. Maybe that didn't work out. Cool. Come back 2022, not do the Westbrook thing. Still in a good position to continue to build. But no, we did the Westbrook thing. And once that happened, we gave away the picks we needed to make this make sense. That's all. It's called sabotaging your situation. That's what we did. And it's okay. It's okay. We wanted to do it. We wanted to bring Westbrook here. We knew it was a risk. It would ruin our situation. We knew that was not a great contract. We knew we'd probably have him for 2 years. We didn't know he would look as bad as he did, but we did know we weren't giving his coach what he needed to make him look good. You leave a team as small as we were, and you leave Russell Westbrook with his defensive holes and his shooting holes. Yeah, your team is going to suck. He needed a center, like a real one. Not Anthony Davis, who's a 4 who should be playing 5, or LeBron James, who's a 3 and 4 who should be not ever playing 5. These are the type of things that I know Darvin Ham is going to straighten out. That's going to make our team look better regardless if we bring back Russell or not. But we still need to respect the fact that Russell represents $47 million, blah, blah, blah. You've heard me say it a million times. We need that in other players. We need to get rid of that. If we bring that back in one player, we still have the same problem. And that's what it looks like they're about to do. You're going to turn Russell Westbrook into Kyrie Irving. Guess what? Still got the same issue. You're going to turn Russell Westbrook into Bradley Beal. Guess what? You still have the same issue. The fit looks better, but the issue's the same. You're going to win more games, but you're still going to lose the games you would have lost because it's depth that's going to beat your butt. It's not going to be the fit not working out. It's going to be the guys you bring off the bench ain't going to be good enough to go up against the guys going to the other bench. And it's going to be on your stars to stay out of foul trouble, stay healthy. That's to which what you're going to have them do is play through more injuries, take more chances on the basketball floor in foul trouble, which will make them look worse defensively. These are all things you got to take into account right now when you leave yourself a shallow team, because these are things that we see with shallow teams. You know, put teams and rotate players on the floor that shouldn't be on the floor a lot of the time. They're not going to be good enough. They're going to try hard. They're going to try hard, but it's just how this works. Got too many examples over the years, way too many examples. And I just feel like a lot of people are looking at the wrong thing. They're looking at the dollar signs. They're looking at the short-term dollar signs. Okay, if we bring Kyrie Irving, got Kyrie, got Bron, AD, yeah, that's about $1 billion right now. We can do billion right there. That's cool, right? You can get your billion, but you're going to lose it on the backside. Why? Because 5, 6, 7 years from now, when you could be also making $1 billion with a set of new stars, you ain't going to be able to get those stars. And that's going to be what? Exaggerating, $200 million? You know what I'm saying? That's not $1 billion a year. All you're doing is paying for it now. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't. At all. I'll be the first person to say, I don't know. These are my how I look at it. This is my theories. Maybe it doesn't go this way. Maybe the best thing to do is keep LeBron James happy because LeBron James gets you all the opportunities you need to get all these stars. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is from where I'm sitting, what it looks like to me, we're setting those guys up for failure. And we're doing it on purpose. Not by accident, not because we don't know any better, but because we just want them to make us look good while we be in denial about whether or not we need to clean the house. That's what it looked like to me. And it's a mistake. It's a mistake. So, I tell you guys it's a mistake every day. I hope the right people hear me say it's a mistake. I hope the right people understand that I mean this in good energy. Good energy. Because I have no problem bringing Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James together. And if you think I think that's not good enough to win a championship, you have the words I'm saying mistaken. If you can get them an adequate bench, they will win the championship. I don't want anybody to be confused about what it is I'm saying to you. If you bring Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and you give them the requisite amount of talent that we cannot bring to them, they will win the championship. Period. For this, I have no doubt. So I just want everybody to know it's not about them. It ain't about whether or not I want them to be on the team. It's about whether or not I think we can bring them what we need to help them succeed and not look their worst. And we cannot. I don't care what nobody says. Unless the information is different than what I have in my head. All the information I've heard, Lakers are going to have to do magic tricks just to get a decent bench on the squad. If we do that. Magic tricks. Literal magic tricks. So, that is my Laker rant for this morning. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Celebrating. Happy Father's Day for those who were celebrating yesterday. I would love to be excited about what we're doing. I wish I was lacking some information so that I could be excited about these names, because if this was 5 years ago, I'd be going crazy. And I wouldn't be saying nothing realistic here. I'd be saying, okay, well, let's give him Russell Westbrook in the second round pick. Let's get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you grow to learn that things are not as simple as they should be in regards to the NBA. But they don't necessarily have that information floating around for casual fans. So they're going to listen to something like I'm saying, and they're going to think I'm wrong, or going to think, that I just am overreacting or something like that. But if they were actually broken down what it looks like, if they look at the Lakers books and they look at the numbers, they will understand, like, yo, yeah, this shouldn't be done. This shouldn't be done. If ESPN just broke down 10 minutes of what the Lakers situation looks like and why, if they do this, what happens can go very, very wrong. Most fans will be like, oh, okay, in that case, damn, we're going to suck anyway. Let's weigh our options. And most people are going to come to the conclusion that the Lakers should probably just let everybody go right now, suck for the next 2 years, reestablish all of those picks, and try again. Because that's the most logical thing to do when you're informed. When you know what the Lakers situation is, that's the only logical thing they need to do. It's ego and greed and denial that would make someone otherwise not want to destroy a circumstance that needs to be destroyed in order to be fixed, man. That's all it ever is. I don't care if it's basketball, life, your relationship, whatever it is. If something is broken and needs to be repaired and you refuse to repair it but instead throw something glittery and nice on it, it's not going to make it work any better. You just threw something nice on it. It's still broken. And so when we throw, sweep our problems under the rug, or, you know what I mean, that kind of thing, you don't get the results of a championship. And that's what I want to drill into everybody with love in my heart. You don't get the results of a championship when you operate that way. It doesn't work that way. The world doesn't work that way. You must address your problems. And I think the Lakers organization, and I'm saying this humbly, I think the Lakers organization as an example should consider what that looks like. Because when we consider the Lakers being a leader in the world as a team, operating in denial is a bad example to show the rest of us. Because a lot of us going to be like, yo, the Lakers ain't cleaning their house. Why do I need to clean mine? The Lakers are going to Look at their problem and say, we can fix it by throwing great things at it. Instead of saying we can fix it by fixing the problem itself, by repairing the problems, the issues. I can approach my life that way. No problem. You know what? I don't have to pay my bills. They'll get paid themselves. Let me get the nice car because it's going to make me look good when I drive down the street. Now, I can't afford that car, and eventually that car is going to get repoed anyway, but I'm going to have it for the short term, and while that short term takes place, maybe if somebody sees me driving down the street, they'll stop me and say, yo, you're a star, and give me $100 million. Now, that's not likely to happen, but anything can happen, right? So why not try it? That's the logic the Lakers seem to be working with right now. That's what it looked like to me. No, friends, no. It's not the way to go. It's not the way to go. You want to fix the problem. You want to make sure that you don't compound your issues so that later on your headaches don't have to be worse than the headaches you're having right now when you're trying to figure out whether or not it makes sense to do something that definitely makes sense. Because I tell you right now, if you don't do it now, you'll be forced to later, and it's going to suck when you no longer have a choice. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching, and I'm out.